What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Neon Spotlight. This is the segment on my channel where I go back through Neon's entire filmography from the first film they released all the way until whenever I get caught up. And it's really interesting this early in Neon's filmography. I think I'm like 17 films, somewhere in that range of their movies. And there's been quite a few documentaries thus far, which I think is really cool because when I'm sitting down to watch movies, I don't always go for documentaries first. I watch virtually every other genre, but I enjoy whenever a documentary pops up here and there. And this one in particular is about the Apollo 11 space shuttle and all of this unearthed footage of the moon landing, which I thought was really cool. Like, I was reading about it. I guess they unearthed a lot of this footage, and the director pieced it all together in a way that makes sense narratively. There is no narration. It's no like talking heads. It's literally just watching the space shuttle prep, take off, land on the moon, and come back to Earth. And I'm really excited to tell you about Apollo 11 today. Apollo 11 is directed by Todd Douglas Miller. A look at the Apollo 11 mission to land on the moon, led by Commander Neil Armstrong and pilot Buzz Aldrin. So I really enjoyed this a lot, and compared to other videos before, there's not really any sort of breakdown because this film is simply footage that was uncovered of the Apollo 11 and the moon landing, and some behind the scenes things, people working on communications with the space shuttle at NASA, certain parts of the mission that were kind of exposed to us as viewers, and it's really just us watching that play out on screen. And I thought this was really well made. I thought it was a very interesting idea for a documentary and how to piece together a documentary, because for so many documentary films you're used to like talking heads or people narrating things for you, and this you'll get brief little title cards and things shown to you, but it's very much just letting you experience this in real time. And I want to talk about the footage is absolutely breathtaking. There's some moments in this that I was completely and totally in awe of what they were able to capture with cameras at this period in time, and just how rich and vivid the color is, and just how amazing it was to see this play out. Because the moon landing to me is something that's still just like, it's so cool to think that we as a collective society were able to create something to get human beings on the moon and explore something outside of our planet. I just think everything about space travel and NASA really fascinates me. And so it was really cool to try to put you as a viewer in the lens of experiencing that in real time. And I was reading after I finished the documentary, they took some liberties with how things played out and like moved some things around, I think, in order to try to keep the suspense up for you as a viewer. And I do think there are some moments of pacing in this that don't necessarily work as well as they probably should. Like, there were times that I felt like I was tuning out, but I still think there's so much here that's really fascinating to see that it's impossible not to be enamored. And I was reading online, I guess when they initially released this, they put it in a ton of IMAX screens. And I feel like, you know, I have a pretty decent sized TV at my house, and I am lucky enough to get to watch movies in that way. But I can only imagine what it was like experiencing this on an IMAX screen. I'm sure that it was very overwhelming and really like moving and emotional. And you know, when you're watching something like this, there's obviously the, you know, the idea of how awesome space travel is, and that it's so cool that we as a society were able to get to the point that space travel is possible. But for me, I think one of the things that really kind of moved me about this the most is we are at such a horrible peak, especially in the United States of America, of like hate and people targeting hate towards one another. And so many marginalized groups are scared for their lives and afraid what's going to happen next because of the idiotic administration that is currently running the country. And what really moved me so much about watching this documentary in particular was watching all the people sit down and experience this incredibly amazing thing together that was accomplished through obviously lots of money, collective effort, people with degrees in science and that know a lot about these particular fields. And everyone, women, children, white, black, brown, people from all different backgrounds and walks of life, sitting in this area watching and enjoying this thing, that everyone was in awe. And it really, as I was watching, I was thinking about how amazing the space travel is and how incredible it is that any of this is accomplishable. But I was also thinking about, wow, here was a period in our country where there's obviously divide. There's things that are wrong. There are always things that need to be changed. That everyone could drop whatever was going on to come together and experience this thing as a whole. And I think that the thing about this country that just boggles my mind is the amount of hate and vitriol and true disdain for people because they're different. And difference is what makes us so beautiful. And watching those scenes of all of those people of different backgrounds, different cultures, just sitting and experiencing this thing, it was beautiful to me. I honestly, when I think about what America is supposed to be, that is the portrait of America I want to see. People from all walks of life, people that come from different backgrounds, from different genders, sexual orientations, religions, just people from all over the place coming together and celebrating progress. And that's what space travel is, right? It's progress. It's understanding the unknown, which is what's so interesting about the current culture that we live in. Is the conservative ideology is afraid of the unknown. They are afraid of what they don't understand, and they are afraid of progress, and they utilize their misinformed ideology and their skewed perception of conservative Christianity to try to indoctrinate people into these ideas that truly just don't make any sense. When you look at something like this that is all about progress and moving forward and a new level of understanding, experiencing things that we'd never experienced before this moment. And I just think that's so indicative of my hope for not just the country, but the world to move forward in this sense of optimism and acceptance and love and community. And I don't see that anywhere in the near future. And I think that's really what moved me so much about this, is that hope and that optimism of a future that I want that might not necessarily be. And I think that you can get a lot out of watching something like this. I really appreciated all the technical elements. Obviously, the footage, like I said, is beautiful. The use of music in this is really incredible. There's a lot going for it. And I think if you appreciate documentary, or if you like space travel, you should 100% check out Apollo 11. So have you seen Apollo 11? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this was a really engaging and fascinating documentary, and I'm really glad that I watched it. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.